Afloat Friday.
Hello and welcome, Afloat Friday. We're back, first Friday of the month every month.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune in next month.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging.
We got a fun topic today. Might be some debate.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, like and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out at floatclothing.com for all our merch. That's that.
Yeah, that's that. Alright, so the topic of today's Afloat Friday is the worst franchise to be a fan of. Within, I guess you could say, the last 10 years, 15 years.
More recently.
Within more recent time. It's not like a historic kind of thing.
No. We're young. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't. Well, yeah.
We have some idea.
There's some idea.
We don't really know.
Yeah. The where we got this from was this post that we saw of it was like a draft, or not a draft. It was kind of like a
bracket.
A bracket of the sorriest franchise to be a fan of.
Hardest franchise to be a fan of.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's where we're getting it from.
Yeah.
It was interesting. There was a lot of debate. It was also debate into what makes what makes a franchise
which
beat another, which was
which we'll get into.
Yeah.
What we may have, I think Paolo and I might have different ideas of what makes a team hard to be a fan of.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be fun.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should say football for last.
Okay.
You want to name some of your hockey teams?
Yeah, so the hockey teams that I have, okay, you're going to like this one.
Yeah.
All of the Canadian hockey teams, all of them are hard to be fans of, and I'll tell you why. They have been good. Right. There have been great teams. Edmonton made the Stanley Cup last year.
I was going to say, I feel like some of them have been good.
Vancouver was a strong team in the mid-2010s and are continuing to get back to that a bit, 100%. They have some great people around. Calgary had some time in the 2010s, but not really.
Right.
Now, where this is stemming from is the fact that no Canadian hockey team has won in the NHL since 1993.
Won the Stanley Cup.
Right. No, none of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it.
Sure.
I think my argument with the whole, and that's what it comes back to, is my argument with the whole worst franchise to be a fan of is I don't think it matters about how good your team is.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters because at the end of the day,
in the regular season.
In the regular season or in the postseason.
Right. Okay. So you're saying the only thing
that matters
is a championship.
Is honestly championships.
Okay. And I disagree with that.
That's valid, but I think about how hard it is. For example, in my own experience, the Bills, Josh Allen just won MVP. The Bills are an incredible franchise right now. They haven't made it since the 90s.
Right.
Right? And that's hard.
And
I feel
they have a tough history too.
They have a tough history. I feel like having a good team and not being able to make it is almost harder than just being a shit franchise.
Yeah. See, that's where I think it's for me, I think we're thinking of it a bit differently.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's if you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Bills have made the playoffs how many years in a row?
3 or 4?
5?
5 and maybe 6.
Right.
How long ago was 6 years ago? It's 2025, 2019?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
They've been consistently in the playoffs for a good number of years now. For the past few years at least, they've been in the playoffs.
Yep.
I think it's you can still get Bills fans go crazy for the Bills in the playoffs. And
of course.
For the regular season, it makes it, if you're gonna win 13 games a season, it's not that hard to be a fan of the team. That's what I'm gonna say.
I guess I get that, but I just don't think it means shit until you win it. I think, and that's the thing. Players are great.
Right.
There are players that are incredible.
Right.
But there are a lot of players that haven't won championships.
Yeah.
that are like kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
Kind of forgotten about.
Sure.
You know?
But, and I think...
Teams that are kind of forgotten about.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I'll save it for later in the episode. Okay. I think this is where we can talk about the Chicago White Sox.
Yep. Sure.
Because
why not?
Bro, I'm telling you, if after last season, if the Chicago White Sox could put together a 500 season, the fans would be happy. Yeah. Like,
I mean, of course.
Like, even if we came in third place in the division with a 500 record, we would be happy. Like there'd be reason for us to actually watch the games.
I get that.
Like, I didn't really watch White Sox baseball last year as a White Sox fan.
Yeah.
Because, like, I went to White Sox games to watch other teams play.
I mean,
I wanted to see Soto and Judge, so I went to the Yankee game.
Yeah.
When they played the White Sox.
And you didn't want to pay the prices of Wrigley Field.
Right. It's you can see some of the best teams in baseball for like, $15-$20 a game at most. Yeah. So, like, that's why I went to White Sox games. Yeah. Not to see the White Sox.
I get that. And I see that from, like, I'm sorry, I gotta take this off real quick.
That's fine.
This has to go. Oh. Right over the camera. Yeah, so I understand that, especially as a Hawks fan right now. Right. Like, for the first time in my life, I've really been watching, like, every game in the season. Yeah. And it's just not enjoyable to watch night in and night out. Like, it's not really like we're exactly contending. Right. Like, at any point, exactly. Like, there's moments, but it's still just like, fuck, this team is
the Hawks are not a good hockey team.
Not yet.
And so, like, that's what I mean when I say it's hard to be a fan of the franchise.
I get that.
But, like, because, like, with the Bills, you can watch every regular season game.
And be into it.
And then follow them in the playoffs. And it sucks when they lose. Like, it's horrible. Like, for fans, it's the worst feeling. Yeah. But you still enjoyed being a fan of the Bills through the season. Like, it wasn't hard to be a fan.
I get that. I get that. I just think about it also in the sense of, like, you look back. Yeah. Like, you look back throughout, like, your life of, like, watching a team, right? Right. As a fan of a team, and just not seeing a team do it. Yeah. No matter how good that team is. Right. Like, you might enjoy it in the moment. Yeah. But 10 years from then, you're gonna look back and be like, fuck, we still didn't do it then. We still didn't win a championship. Yeah. So I think that's also how I look at it. Not as like a right now situation, but in like we're looking back 15 years later on like right now. Right. And it's like, they didn't do it. Yeah. They were great. Right. They were fun to watch, but they didn't do it. Right. And that's what it comes down to, I think. Yeah. Because I think one thing that I stand on with this is that I was in the bar, right? For that Bills game.
Bills Chiefs, that just happened.
And I overheard hearing someone say, I just want to see one in my lifetime. I just want to see one in my lifetime. Yeah. And think about it. Yeah. The Bills have had their time. Like, they went to 4 straight championships. They lost, but they went to 4 straight. They were a good team. They're a good team now. Yeah. Throughout that person's life, the Bills have been decent, contending throughout, different moments. Right. But that's what it comes down to in a lifetime.
Of course.
It's not about, oh man, they've been so fun to watch, but they haven't done it. It's, dude, I'm 70 years old, right?
No, of course.
And my team just hasn't done it. Yeah. My team hasn't won a championship. That would stick with me. Yeah. No, I will say, I've seen the Hawks win the Stanley Cup 3 times already. Right. So I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. All right. And I'd love to see it again, but my heart is full.
And there was a White Sox World Series in my lifetime, but I was 1 year old.
Right.
So,
But that still counts. That still counts for you.
Yeah, but I want to experience.
Exactly. No. That's what I'm saying. It counts for you in the sense that you want to experience. Like, you should. Right.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Like, you still haven't really seen one.
No, and like, it's even if they don't win one in the near future, it would just be fun to see them be a contender to win the division or be in the playoffs. Like in 2021, they won the division. And they made the playoffs, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
But they just suck.
Yeah.
Like they're the worst team. They just put together the worst team in baseball history.
I get it.
And it's not looking any better. So from that perspective, I get it. Like obviously, I want to see a championship, but I think as one of my teams, I just want to see them be a good watch.
Yeah,
so I can be a fan of the team. But
it'll happen.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
That's what I come down to. I think that's my my end all be all to it.
Like for example, if you're a Yankees fan,
right,
and you look back at Aaron Judge's career,
right,
and he's never won a World Series.
Yeah,
that's gonna sting.
I
understand that.
Yeah.
I understand. I get that.
And that's where Jim Kelly didn't win one.
Right.
Fuck. You know?
Yeah.
You know? So know.
If you look back at Josh Allen's career and he didn't win a Super Bowl, that's gonna hurt a lot.
That would put
Yeah.
That means something. So that's how I go about it. Yeah. What is your? Should we get into football?
We can do it.
Who do you got?
My pick for hardest football team to be a fan of is the New York Jets.
Valid. I love that call.
Especially they have a very rough history.
Yeah.
But even just the past 5-10 years, it's been rough.
What's funny is that they have a history. Brett Favre went to the Jets at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
And Rodgers just did the same thing.
Right.
It's kind of funny. They have they're gonna get the hotshot QB, but the last 2-3 years of his career, maybe even for Rodgers. I don't even know if he'll make. He might not even play next year.
Who really knows? I mean, that's the thing.
We'll see when he gets out of the ayahuasca cave.
You as a Jets fan, the 2023 season.
He's like Punxsutawney Phil.
Sorry, that's crazy. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sorry. I had to cut you off with that. That's too good. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead though, please.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it just happened. 6 more weeks.
Oh, I missed
6 more weeks.
I missed it.
My sister and mom went.
I know. I forgot.
I'll tell you that story off camera.
That's an off-camera story.
Yeah.
But okay, Jets fan. Last season, Aaron Rodgers running out with the flag.
Yep.
First week of the season.
Yep.
Tears his 3 plays in, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Heartache.
Zach Wilson, whatever. 3-win season. You're like, okay, next year has to be better. Full season of Rodgers, and they still only won 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's pain.
Yeah.
And then more pain.
Yep. Valid.
And then their whole history is just pain.
Yeah.
So it sucks. That's why I picked the Jets.
Valid. Now.
Yeah.
With no real knowledge, okay? No concrete knowledge, I'll say, of a time with Matthew Stafford.
It's more of a loose knowledge.
A loose knowledge of a time with Matthew Stafford. My pick is the Detroit Lions.
Okay. I respect it.
I think that they have, although had incredible past few seasons, there is still just something not there. Just not there.
Yeah.
And it comes in the realest of moments for them. It's not like it's not there all season.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not there throughout most of the playoff games.
Yeah.
Most of the span of a game in a playoff game. Yeah. But there are key moments where that team just fucking misses. And I won't lie, I think you could argue that the Bills are in that same spot.
Right.
I will say the fake punt pass to DeMar last season, you could argue it. Not being able to score a TD at the end of this past game against the Chiefs, you could argue it. Or fine.
Yeah.
Past, whatever. Fine. You could argue
13 seconds.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Detroit, though, is just in more of a rough place because they're still green in the sense that they're still an they're still an on the cusp team of being incredible, of being to the level of like where the Bills and the Chiefs and the Ravens and like these teams are. Like they're there, but postseason wise, they're just not there.
And that's why I think that it's easier to be a Lions fan than a Bills fan. Because this team is still like last year it was awesome and you're like, wow, this is great. And
last year was awesome. First time getting to the playoffs in like years.
So that's why it didn't matter if they really did that well in the playoffs. You're just happy to be there.
Right.
And then this year, like, you obviously wanted to do more, but with the injuries and everything, like, you can still. It's only like really the second year of this whole team being together.
Yep.
So you can worry about the future and like, will you be able to keep them all together?
Right.
And all that stuff, but like, you still have, you've only had 2 years of it.
Yeah.
Like with Josh Allen, you've had however many years.
You've had like at least 5.
You're over Detroit's still approaching their peak.
Yep.
And like the Bills are in their peak and they're not, and they haven't been able to do it. And I feel like they're at a worse place.
The Bills are?
Yeah.
Valid.
That's
valid.
Yeah. I'm not trying to hate on the Bills.
No, I get it. Yeah. I get it. And like, I can't say that's the Bills because that argument's real, but then it's like.
And I understand your Lions argument. Like historically, it's been very
hard
to be a
Lions fan. It's been hard. And if I'm not mistaken, if you remember last year in the playoffs, didn't they say it was the first time that the playoffs or that the Lions had scored a TD since like
it was Randy
Moss
in the 90s. Yeah.
So that must mean that even if Stafford made it, he never got a TD.
Yeah. I don't think they had made it. It had been a really long time since they made it.
So there you go. I think that one holds up.
That's a good pick. Like more long time span.
A little bit more long time span.
Yeah.
100%. But that's where I stand with that.
Yeah. And so the team that won in the bracket that we saw on Instagram
was the Dallas Cowboys.
And I was like kind of just like saying you've got the White Sox in that bracket, you've got the New York Jets in that bracket.
Go ahead.
Just how did the Cowboys win? Like
this is
because they made the playoffs last year, and they I understand Cowboys fans are kind of like Yankees fans, like in the way that they're kind of spoiled and expect a good team every year and to be a Super Bowl contender every single year.
Yep.
But to make the playoffs, I just think it's easier. It's not that hard to be a fan of a team that makes the playoffs consistently.
That's valid. I think that when I looked at that, and we should put a photo up of it.
We can put up a photo.
But if you look at the two teams that went up against each other in the finals, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
All right? So the Toronto Maple Leafs is an original 6 hockey team, one of the original 6 hockey teams in the National Hockey Team, or in that National Hockey League, right?
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys, storied franchise.
Right.
That has been around since the birth of football, probably.
As you mentioned, America's
team. I don't
team.
really know. America's team.
Right.
100% America's team, the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Both those teams are well known throughout the world.
Right.
They're well known.
Yeah.
Maybe not like, who's who and whatever on each team at the current moment, but like those teams are known throughout, right?
At least North America.
At least in North America, those teams are well regarded, right?
Right.
Both of them have just been sucky for years. For years.
Yeah.
The last time that the Cowboys were good was with Troy Aikman as their QB in like what I believe was the 80s. It might have been the 90s, but I think it was the 80s.
But by good you mean like
winning championships.
Winning championships, right.
Have the Cowboys been good? Kind of.
Sure.
Have they made the Super Bowl in the past 10 years? Not that I can remember.
No.
I don't think so. Not since 2015, for sure.
No.
So, and I was telling you earlier, I mean, the Cowboys have had Dez Bryant. They had, Tony Romo. They've had Zeke. They obviously now have fucking
Lamb, Parsons, Prescott.
and then you have Dak too.
Yeah.
I'm tweaking on Dak's name for some reason, I don't know. So I think when you put all that together and the fact that like they've had pieces,
right.
and maybe it hasn't been like all around, but they've had like league-wide players that are like a player that's known throughout the league. Like we gotta stop this guy. 88 in blue, we gotta stop.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So I think that's more of like the where I see it is like more of like the well-known teams.
Yeah.
But the ones that have still been shit. I mean, Toronto Maple Leafs, I can't tell you how many times I've watched a Game 7 Boston Bruins Toronto Maple Leafs game that just doesn't go Toronto's way. I can name at least 3.
Right. So you're going more off of just expectations versus success rate.
And also just notability,
right,
just the fact that these teams are really just like well-known teams,
For sure.
Anyone that watches football at least a little bit knows about the Dallas Cowboys. The same with the Leafs.
Yeah.
Anyone that watches hockey knows the Leafs.
Yeah.
And if you talk to Leafs fans, they're fucking pissed. I mean, bro, the Leafs have right now, and they've had, like in a similar argument to the Bills, they've had Matthews, they have Nylander, they have Marner, they have Tavares, they have a fuckload of play. There's more.
Yeah.
They just got rid of Bertuzzi this past year, who's now on the Hawks, and
that doesn't sound like
not been great. Tyler Bertuzzi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Legend. Not really for us, but he's been okay.
Yeah.
They have had a strong team for at least 4 years in Matthews.
Right.
And they've put the money into the team.
Yeah.
But they are a first to second round exit year after year.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. Sounds like the Cowboys.
Yeah. and I would honestly it's similar to like that of like a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, honestly.
Sure.
They're upset with Tomlin.
Yeah.
Because they're only getting to
being upset as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan I can't get behind.
No, I get it because I compare it to like the Bulls, bro. It's the same fucking thing with them. They're just a little bit better.
Bro, the Steelers haven't had a losing season.
But they don't do anything with it, bro. They don't do anything with it, and that sucks. And as a Steelers fan, I'd rather see my team fucking suck and go pick up some players and go get some notable people out of college than watch them go to the first round and lose season after season after season.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But okay.
It's been years of that.
Bro, I get it.
So it's like, fuck it, let's switch it up. Let's get Tomlin out of there.
Bro,
let's move some
shit. Okay. I can understand being upset. You win. You never have a losing season, and you never really make it far in the playoffs.
Like you're just in the gray area.
I get it. I get it. It's kind of you're right. It's kind of like the Bulls being the 10th seed every time they get the play in, and then they're not going anywhere.
Play in.
They're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
I get it. But being mad at Mike Tomlin is completely nonsensical to me.
Valid.
He does exceptional things with what he's given, and it's really the front office in my mind that doesn't really put the best roster possible.
That's valid. I don't argue that at all.
We can
but
find
it's just
some common ground.
100%. I think that that's definitely valid.
Yeah.
But Tomlin is definitely the scapegoat of the Steelers fan base right now. At least it seems.
I'm not mad at you saying that. I'm mad at the people that feel that way.
The hate on Tomlin. You're more upset about the hate on Tomlin than anything.
Yeah.
Some good common ground was made to that.
Yeah.
It was found, not made. Both. Made, found.
Made ground.
Made ground. Sure.
Yeah.
I
think that's our Afloat Friday.
I mean, yeah. What a heated little last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Afloat Friday. Check us out first Friday of every month. Afloat podcast every Thursday.
Yep.
And we'll see you. Thank you.
Cheers. Stay afloat.